Welcome to the Right Fight Podcast, a discussion about how to live a loving life. I'm Reg Lloyd, and we're having a conversation with Kenny Vaughn. Kenny, the last episode we talked about Chapter 7, Feelings Don't Produce Roots, and kind of feel like there's still more content to talk about. So let's talk about that again. And I would love for you to talk about when you were a softball coach and how you mediated between two people that were having a quarrel.
So I'm coaching a Little League girls softball team, and I got two girls. Well, I got several girls, about two girls that a few weeks in are starting to get at each other a little bit. And then on the practice one evening, and the parents kind of drop the kids off and they show up late. Like most practices, they aren't there, so I don't really know what's going on. But they went off on each other on one of these evening practice services. And I normally would get them together and talk to them, but I decided, no, I need to separate them and talk to them individually. And then I wanted to hear from each one of them, like, what's going on? Why are y'all doing this? Because they seem to be friends before. So I pulled each one aside individually. And then they, whenever each one of them, when I asked them, well, what did she do? Well, they had the story they told me, I would have been pretty upset too had they done that to me, So it wasn't hard to understand why they felt like they felt, but I didn't really know how to tell the girls that, though you feel that way, if you act based on how you feel, this over time is going to wreck your life. So my big concern was not that these two girls get along on the softball team. They were young. They were, 8 or 9 years old. My big concern was that this is starting now, and what we learn here maybe could help them make better decisions as they move through life. Because if they move through life with this mindset of, you do these things to me, this is what I'm going to do to you, then they're setting themselves up for massive failure. Fear is going to lead and rule their life. Fruitlessness is going to be their destiny, and it's never going to work. So I talked to the girls. They explained. So I just asked them, okay, well, what do you think is going to happen if you go through life? Now, do you think this is right, first of all? They treated you like this, and that's why you're being this rude, this angry, all these 8 things that love is not. And like, yes, that's right. I'm like, well, why do you do that? Well, I always do that. Like, as if I'm supposed to do that. Why wouldn't I do that? And I understand that because that's where I came from, And so then I'm trying to help them, thinking, how am I going to help these young ladies understand that if you keep doing that, then other people being selfish is not going to be the cause for the suffering in your own life. It's going to be you, because you're giving control of your life to these other people. But how do you communicate this to a little girl? So I just said, I asked each one of them individually, and I said, well, listen, do you understand that if here's what you're telling me. You're telling me she was rude, she was mean, she was all these things, and that's why you responded by being rude and mean and all of these things to her. And they're like, yes, and that's justified. So then I just ask them, well, what would happen, if everyone that you came across was rude and mean and envious and like this towards you? Would that mean that you're going to become, that in your life you're going to be angry, rude, envious, prideful, boastful, all of these things? So are you going to allow rude and mean people to result in you choosing to be rude and mean? So are you going to allow how people treat you to result in you becoming what you actually despise? So you're sitting here telling me that the reason you acted like this is because you're so outraged at how she treated you or what she did to you. And what they did was selfish. There's, in both cases, I couldn't make an argument that what they did was okay. And so you're gonna, so yes, that's right. That's what I'm feeling. That's why I'm outraged. But yet, though you feel all that and you believe all of that, you're gonna become that because of that. And somehow I was able to connect with them and help them realize that, and ask them, is that what you want to do? I mean, if that's what you want to do, I'll tell you what to do. I'm just trying to help you make a better decision. But if that's what you really want to do, if you want to become what you despise, and what do you think is going to come of that? Do you think that that's going to result in everybody treating you lovely all of a sudden? Or you think it's going to result in everybody getting away from you? Like, you don't want to be around this person anymore, right? No, I don't. And so do you think everybody's going to want to be around you when this is how you act? So I just tried to help them think through that the way you treat people determines who you are, not who they are. And the way people treat you determines who they are, not who you are. And that I try to encourage them to do a better job of loving their friend, whether their friend loved them or not. And because if they would, then love could rule their life. It wouldn't mean they would never get hurt. It wouldn't mean that little girl wouldn't be rude again, or the other one wouldn't be rude. They're both being rude, right? It wouldn't mean that wouldn't happen again. I mean, it almost certainly will. But it would mean that what happened to them would no longer define who they were. And that was one of the amazing things about Christ, is nothing that ever happened to him changed who he was. And we need to change. He didn't need to change. We need to change to be more like him, which is not allowing selfishness to make us become selfish. And so those feelings, and the crazy part in that story was the moms got there later that evening. And I went and talked to the moms because I thought, no, I don't know what they're going to, sometimes I would try to correct children and then find out the next day kid told them something different, and I'm getting corrected, as the coach by mom and dad. So I went and talked to both the moms, and the moms were like, what's crazy is they were best friends since like 2, and they grew up together. In the last couple of years, they've been almost becoming enemies. And it was, I think they just didn't know any better, right? Like, if we don't, unless we're taught the truth, this is why we need Jesus, so he teaches us the truth of what love really is, then we just go where our feelings lead us. And their feelings were leading them to what they were doing, and they were both really good at it. And so they were slowly becoming enemies. And the wonderful thing was, man, like, even kids, if you can just show them the truth, they wanted to change. And that was a slow build up until I finally decided I needed to talk to these 2 girls. So it wasn't getting better, it was getting worse. And then it was gone after that. I mean, I saw a little stuff here and there, but then I saw them, it was as simple as they knew a better decision to make. And then when we know a better decision to make and we make it, then we see the fruit of that decision. It gets a whole lot easier to make the next better decisions. And I mean, that's how it's been in my own life. It's like, I'm those little girls, you're rude to me, I'm going to be rude to you. You tailgate me, I'm going to tailgate you.
Yeah. You also write, love is an action that will result in feelings. And then you say, fear is a feeling that results in actions if we're not careful.
Yeah, so that's exactly right. So love is an action that results in feelings, just meaning that love is a choice. And of course, we've talked about this. Love is not just what we do, it's why we do it. But if we do what we do for the right reason, selflessly, so if I'm kind to you, not so I can get something from you, but I'm kind to you for you, then that's my choice. It's totally 100% within my control, and it's a decision that I make within that then results in an action of the act of kindness, right? And then the feelings want us to just follow them. So if we're choosing to love, then we make a decision 100% within our control, and then we get our why right, and then we take an action based on that decision. That's a decision to love someone.
And then you say the feelings will come after that?
Yeah, that's right. So when you love, sometimes it'll cost you something, but then, and if you're looking at the book, as we're loving, we're patient, we're kind, we're truthful, protecting others, trust and hope and persevering. These are the roots of our life. When we take care of those roots, the fruit takes care of itself. So in the case that you make a kind decision to a rude person, and then you see the difference it made, you are the one that gets filled in that process. You encourage them, but you heal yourself, right? I mean, Jesus got the love of God flowing through you. You don't heal yourself, but God's love, your decision results in God's love flowing through you to someone else. That's what heals you. And it helps them. So it's not, it's not being loved that heals us, fills us, makes us fruitful. The whole world can love us. Everybody can love me. If I'm selfish and I stay stuck on selfish, if I live a fear-led life, I'm going to be fruitless. It doesn't matter who loves me. It's us. It's when we choose to love that we get made whole by God's love flowing through us. So yeah, that choice to love results in the fruit of love in our own lives. But I'm always fighting to make sure I'm loved instead of fighting to love. And the reason I want to be loved is so I don't get hurt and so I don't have to heal. And because I think that, and because I believe that your love for me will make me better. You loving me doesn't make me better, it makes you better. You're the one loving. I'm the beneficiary. I'm being blessed for it. You're modeling for me how to love. I'm seeing how it works, and I'm realizing, hey, I want to be like that, not like what I am. But it's us loving that heals us. So yeah, the choice to love results in the fruit of love. And then if we the mistake is we follow our feelings, and feeling, fear is a feeling that wants to lead you to a choice. Love is a choice that results in a feeling. So many times the choice of love is you have to make despite your feelings.
Not sure we want to go here because of time's sake, but as you're talking, what it reminds me of the saying is that I fell out of love. This is probably what's being said is I no longer feel love. And with what you've said is you don't have to have the feelings to accompany an action of love, and that if we would keep loving, then the feelings would be a result eventually.
Yeah, and we should go there. I mean, and we in the previous podcast, we talked about my parents and persevering, and I witnessed it, where there was no love anywhere to be found. So the falling out of love, that whatever that is, had happened. But then there was a decision to love despite a feeling for long enough, and love perseveres, that it totally, radically changed everything. So, but if we fall out of love and we fall into love, to me that suggests that it's beyond our control. Like, and that's this whole mindset of I'm following my feelings. So I have all these feelings that I think are for no reason at all, that are never for no reason at all. They're for some reason, and I just follow them. And so basically what happens is we're both patient and kind, and all these 7 things that love is to each other. But why are we doing it? Many times we're doing it because we're getting it. It's a give and get. It's a 50-50. Love isn't 50-50. It's 100-100. It's all of me for you, whether I get it or not. So, but we're in this exchange of giving and giving and taking, and then eventually somebody stops giving so much, and people get hurt, and then we follow our feelings. So you're angry and rude to me, and instead of going, okay, that makes me feel angry and rude, but I'm going to choose to love instead of choosing to be angry and rude, then I can give love a chance to work in our relationship. You're angry and rude to me, I'm angry and rude to you. We become prideful, we become boastful, we become these 8 things. So we choose to become these 8 things. The feeling of love, the fruit of love, dries up and dies in our life. And I try to illustrate this in the trees in the book, but you end up with these 2 fruitless trees and these 2 people who say, I fell out of love. But the truth is, they didn't just fall out of love. They quit loving. Sometimes I never loved to begin with. They kind of pretended to love to get what they wanted, And eventually they kind of became to know each other from the inside out to realize that, hey, this really wasn't for me, it was for you, and mine was for you. So either they realize they were never loved or they start falling out of love. In either case, those two people can start choosing to love. And that will have to be without regard for their feelings whatsoever. And if they choose to be patient, kind, truthful, protect the other, trust, hope, persevere, and they're steadfast in that for a long enough period of time, eventually they'll say they fell back in love, right? And so, I mean, a quick example, you think about it like this. You put two people on an island, and they could have absolutely nothing in common. No physical attraction, anything, right? They're the only two people on the island, but they're both sincerely, for the other's sake, patient, kind, truthful, protect others, trust, hope, persevere. They're these 7 things that love is. In no time at all, they're going to both be on the same side of the island. They're going to be helping each other fish, helping each other build camp, whatever happens. For however long they're there, if you come and get them and take them out of there, they're going to love each other. And it's going to kill them to be apart, right? Or you can take 2 people, put them on an island that are so attracted, all the sparks and everything is flying, but they're angry, they're rude, they're envious, they're prideful, they're boastful. They're these 8 things that love is not. Or they're patient and kind, but only to get what they need. And before long, they're going to be on opposite sides of that island, trying to figure out how to burn down the other side of the island, right? So yeah, love is a choice, a decision to do what's best for someone else without regard for how we feel. Like, it doesn't matter how I feel. Like, I have to ask myself, what's the truth? What's best for you? And it's never best for you to abuse me, all that stuff. I'm not talking about that. It's not loving to allow or participate in that. But what's best for you without regard for me? And if you can, it takes 2, Reggie, but if you can get 2 people that are willing to do that and love each other, if they feel like they fell out of love, they can fall back in. It's not going to be easy. It's simple. It really is a very simple concept. But, man, is it hard. It's not easy at all. It's an uphill climb against your feelings. But if you love through that, when you get done, you're going to have some strong love.
I'm glad we stuck with this topic.
Yeah, me too.
Glad we gave it another week.
Yep.
Well, this wraps up another podcast. Trust God's word no matter what.
Keep your eyes on the horizon.
Thanks for listening to the Right Fight podcast. Make sure to check out Kenny's book, The Right Fight, for more on how to live a loving life. It's available on their website, shieldsofstrength.com, Audible, and all digital platforms. If you have any questions for the podcast, you can email support@shieldsofstrength.com and put podcast as the subject. And make sure to follow Kenny on Instagram and TikTok @JohnKennedyVaughn. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.